everybody. Hello, 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 beautiful people, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about this weird thing called Kohlrabi. But first, let's see who is here. And I see Jill. Hello, Jill. So good to have you here. And anyone else that is here, please feel free to, chat it up in the chat. Hi, Lisa. Good afternoon. So glad you're here as well. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm really excited to be here and talk about Kohlrabi. So if you're new here, my name is Jennifer Diamond, and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach, living a whole food plant-based lifestyle for health and well-being. And today I thought that we could talk about something that you might have, or maybe you might not have seen or heard before. It's Kohlrabi. And Kohlrabi, is right here in this bowl. It's a root vegetable, and it's something that I personally am not that familiar with. So I thought, this would be fun to explore this together. So I found these at our local farmer's market, and I just love the colors. There's this beautiful purple and a green one. It kind of looks whitish, but in person, it's got a green tint to it. And today we're just going to talk about what it is, where it comes from, how to prepare it, and of course, how to eat it. So I want to start out by asking, is anyone familiar with Kohlrabi? Let me know in the chat. And if so, what do you do with it? Or maybe you're not. So who hasn't tried it? Or maybe you've never even seen it before. I would love to just hear kind of where everyone is, and I welcome that information. So I just want to take a second here and say hello to Lucky Ankush Dance View. So glad you're here, Lucky. Thank you. And first up, when I decided to talk about this, one of the first things I said was, what the heck is it? And so I'm going to say that now. What the heck is Kohlrabi? The word Kohlrabi comes, I'm going to say hi to Jennifer and Todd and everyone else. Oh, hey, Nan, so good to have you. Sending lots of love to everyone who is here. Jill says, I've seen it before, but I've never tried it. Okay. Lisa says, I've never tried it or seen it. Okay, so good. We're kind of all in the same ballpark, but we'll talk about, what the heck is it, right? Let's go with the word Kohlrabi. It comes from a German word, Kohl, which means cabbage, and Rabi, which means turnip, right? So I thought that was fitting because it is a close cousin to both the cabbage and the turnip families. It's part of the brassica family. If you guys have ever heard of that word, the brassicas are a group of popular vegetables, which include bok choy, some people call it pak choy, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, collards, kale, Kohlrabi, right? And rutabaga and turnip. They're all in the same brassica family, but it also includes other vegetables in that family, like the Chinese cabbage or brown mustard and radishes. So vegetables in the brassica family are frequently called something that you are maybe familiar with, cruciferous vegetables, because of their unique flower shape. But they're also sometimes referred to as the mustard plant family. It's got a lot of names, a lot of references. And that is because the wild mustard plant is the ancestral species from which many popular vegetables, including broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, Kohlrabi, collard greens, and so on, are derived. So over centuries, farmers have selectively bred the wild mushroom plant to enhance or change specific traits, such as the large flower head on the plant, which is now broccoli, or the compact leaf clusters, which we now know as cabbage, or the elongated stems, Kohlrabi. So leading to the diverse array of cruciferous vegetables that we know today. I thought that was so interesting. I really couldn't wait to share with you. And kohlrabi has been grown for centuries across Europe and Asia, but it really gained popularity in Germany and Central Europe during the Renaissance period because, or not because, but today it's grown around the world, including right here in the US, especially in cooler climates, which is interesting because we're in Arizona where it's not cooler, but it's considered our winter. Well, I don't know. Yeah, spring. But you can find it fresh and crisp, mostly in most areas in spring and fall. So there's a few different varieties of kohlrabi that with most of them being like common, it would be the green kohlrabi. And I've got a few of the green ones. So this one has the pale green skin, and inside it's like a crispy white flesh. And then there's also the purple kohlrabi, and it has this gorgeous, beautiful, deep violet skin, and inside it's still white. So I thought that was interesting too. So you can find them in different sizes. You can find them, these I consider to be small, but you can find them in large sizes too. In fact, we were at the farmer's market last weekend and we saw some. They had already cut, the greens, the tops off of them. And they just had the green ones, even though they might look kind of whitish. They were really, really huge, to the point where Todd and I stopped. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I bet it was like this big. Wouldn't you say?
Easily that.
It was huge, and I mean, this one's a little tiny, which is fine. But, it's just that depending on what you're going to use it for, you can look and see also what's available, that know that they do come in the two different sizes. So I understand that both are equally sweet and mild and juicy. I understand that they're almost like a mix between a radish and an apple and a mild broccoli stem, if you combined all those together. So we are going to be sure to taste them together today. And they're both pretty similar in terms of nutrition, though. The purple is higher in anthocyanins, did I say it right?
You did.
Which are water-soluble pigments that, depending on the pH level, they can appear as red, purple, blue, or black. And they're linked to heart health, helping with heart, and potentially brain function. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but those are the two that stood out to me. So let's see who is familiar with kohlrabi. Anybody you see, Todd? Let me check the chat. So far, I've seen nobody's familiar with it. Oh, hi, John Jew. Good to have you here. Okay, so then here's another question for you guys. If you're watching and you didn't tell me that you've had it, but you've had it before, what's your favorite way to make it? And if you haven't had it, and I just described to you what it tastes like, what would you do with it? Any ideas or suggestions? There's no wrong answers. Okay, while you guys are thinking about that and hopefully giving me some information, let's talk about the flavor and the texture a little bit more in depth. So kohlrabi is known to have a crunchy, kind of juicy, and a little sweet flavor, but it also has a little bit of a peppery kick. So it's not spicy like a radish, but it has that same kind of fresh bite to it, if that makes sense. The texture is really nice, especially raw. I think like jicama, right? But maybe more tender. I actually recently did a video on jicama. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. And if you're not familiar with jicama, it goes into a lot more detail. And as far as nutrition-wise goes, kohlrabi is amazing for you. How come? Well, It's, of course, it's low in calories, right? It has vitamin C to boost your immune system and help support glowing skin, potassium, which helps with blood pressure and heart health, and a whole host of antioxidants. And it's full of fiber. So it's your gut's best friend, which helps, of course, with digestion. And on a cellular level, kohlrabi contains, let's see if I could say these, glucosinolates and isothiocyanates. Is that right?
I think that's close.
I know. They're really fancy words and I can barely pronounce them. So thanks for hanging in there with me. But basically what that means is they help your body to detox, reduce inflammation, and they even help protect your cells from damage. They're really powerful stuff. And it's just from this simple looking kind of fun veggie. So now that we know a little bit about what it is, where it comes from, and the benefits of eating it, let's talk about how do you pick a good kohlrabi when you're shopping for it. So before we do that, I want to see if anyone answered our question here. Let's see. Jill Caperton says slice and steam it. Okay, slice and steam it. Yeah, definitely. And have you done that before? Or that's something that you would do? Because I think that's great. Because earlier I think you said that you had never tried it, but slicing it and steaming it, hey, why not? I think that's great. And John Juice says it sounds yummy. Where do you get it? Never heard of it until you. Okay, well, we're going to talk about it. I did mention a little earlier that you can find it at a farmer's market. That's where we find it. I don't know if it's commonly in like, box stores. I've never seen it, but maybe smaller, like we have Natural Grocer out here, Sprouts, I'm not sure. So definitely, I think farmer's market, especially if it is spring or fall, at cooler temperature time, they should have them. And Jill says, I would try it. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so in terms of when you finally do find it in the store, how do you pick one? Well, you want to look for ones that are firm, that are kind of heavy in their size, that don't have any like cracks or soft spots. They feel kind of firm. If the leaves are still attached, I think that's wonderful. So I'm going to say, yay! The leaves should be perky and bright green like these, and not so much like these. Now, I have had these for a few extra days, hoping to show you the difference, and I was able to. So when you decide to buy a bunch, but maybe they're not ready to eat just yet. Maybe you get it and you're like, okay, I don't want the leaves to get all cranky like this. Then you can just do a little storage tip. So you would cut off the leaves once you get home, right? Because leaving the leaves on there, even though it's amazing to have them when you buy them with the leaves on, you want to cut them off if you're not going to use it right away because they draw moisture out of the bulb. And if you don't do this, then over time, you might find yourself with a kohlrabi that's like really drier than you'd like. If you've ever had jicama, I've had jicama before where I didn't pick a good one and it was really dry and it really changes the whole experience. So, but once you've got the leaves removed, you can store the bulbs in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. And the greens that you just cut off, yes, they're edible too. So for about maybe like 3 to 5 days, some people wrap the bulbs in a moist cloth or a paper towel, and that helps preserve the moisture in the bulb. I cut some off because we're going to be making some stuff, and I started to, cut up some of the kohlrabi. And so I just, for, sake of showing, just put them in this glass of water, but, here's a bunch of them, and I will use them in stir fries and different things. You don't have to put it in water like this. I just thought it's a plant, you know, I just treat it like a flower. So I wanted to put that up for you guys. So, any other questions or chat going on? Okay, so kohlrabi, okay, it can be cut into all kinds of different shapes, and we are going to be getting into it and doing it together. But I just want to talk a little bit about it because I'm getting older, and you know, talking and multitasking is not my strong point these days. But it can be cut into coins. It can be cut into wedges, julienne strips, right? Matchsticks. You can shred it. You could do any shape really. The raw kohlrabi adds crunchy texture and mild, slightly spicy flavor to things like salads. If you're making sandwiches, you could put it on there, or as just as a vegetable, right? Cut it into strips or sticks, and you can just snack on it, or you can use it in dips. Other ways to prepare it are by what Jill said, steaming or boiling. You can boil or steam kohlrabi until it's tender. And then you can use that also in salad soups, or even just as a side dish, which we are going to do today. You can even roast kohlrabi, cut it into wedges or coins, and then roast it in the oven until it's tender. You want it to be slightly browned. Now, I don't use oil, so sometimes it won't be as golden-y, but you could still have that work. Now, sometimes with other vegetables, I tend to steam them and get them so that they have a lot of the wet moisture in them. And then I put them in the oven, and they don't have that dried out from not having the oil. And so that works out really well if you want to try that. You can also just slice the kohlrabi and saute it, or stir fry it with other vegetables, or you can even make it as part of a main dish. I mean, it's a very versatile vegetable. And some people even use it to make like fritters in the oven, or you can air fry for a no oil version. But as far as the stems and leaves go, like we talked about, don't discard them. I just want to make sure you heard that, because they can be added to the soups, to the stir fries, or even roasted like the bulbs. So you want to include them when you're thinking about what you want to do with them. So here's something. What about mashing them? Yeah, just like potatoes, cooked kohlrabi can be mashed, and you can season it up. So yeah, there's lots of things that you can do with it. I think I am going to use this one to make a recipe for you. So let's prepare our kohlrabi. But before we do, I just want to check the chat and see, you know, how anybody has anything going on. No? Okay, so while I'm getting this prepared, I want to ask, what's your favorite way to eat it if you've eaten it? Any of the ways that I talked about, or if you haven't eaten it yet, which one of those ways do you think you would want to try first? Okay? All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do when you get your kohlrabi is like with anything, right? You're going to rinse it well. These I've already cleaned ahead of time. I like to rinse them or clean them or soak them under cold water or in a bowl of cold water, and making sure that it's clean, and that we've gotten rid of any soil or bugs or any other things that we don't want to eat. And then I'm going to now you can use a knife. I'm going to use these kitchen shears. I'm going to trim off the stems and the leaves and then set them aside. And so let's just go ahead and do that together. So let me see. I want to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing here. And hold on. Let's see. Hopefully you can see this now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, you see, look at this. Isn't this crazy? I'm just going to cut it right there. And I'm just going to go around and cut it right there. Just cut them off. You can use it in the stir fry. It's edible. But we're just going to cut them off. And just get them all. And it's not hard to cut. I mean, they just come right off. Of course, you'll probably be doing it on a countertop, not holding it up in the air like me. And then we have these beautiful leaves. And if you don't, say, have any use for the leaves, then add it to your scraps and make some homemade veggie broth out of it, but they're just as good. Think kale or any other green leaf, and you can use it any way that you would use those. So I'm just going to put those aside for now. Now, the next thing we want to do is remove the skin. You can eat the skin, but it's super fibrous, more so than a broccoli stem. And I eat the broccoli stem, but I still cut off the outer part of it because it's so tough. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I cut this and clean it up. And like I said, it is edible. And if you enjoy it, if you're into the super, fibrous stuff, hey, then by all means, go ahead and leave the skin on. But I'm going to go ahead and get a knife. And the first thing that I'm going to do is cut both sides. I hope you can see this. You can see this, Todd?
I can see it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Let
I'm
me
sitting
know if
right here.
there's a problem. So look at what's happening inside. It's white inside. And we talked about that. So interesting. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside because I would use it on my veggies. And now, there we go. Look at that. Now, you can use a chef's knife or, which I just did on the two ends. You can use a paring knife, right? So we just first cut the top and the bottom off. And now we're going to remove the outer fibrous skin. So the purple one, like you see, it's white inside because the purple color is the part that we're going to be removing. I've heard that you can use a peeler, and I have one here, right? And we could try it, but in preparing for today's recipes, I found that the paring knife or the chef's knife is the easiest way to do it. So we could try both, and then you could decide what works for you. If it's a super large one that we talked about, you can cut it straight down the middle in half, and then you have two flat surfaces that you can rest on while you go around the outer peel. And then so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you why I don't like the peeler, but it works. It's just hard. And I think if you get it started, you can peel it, but it just seems like it's a lot of work. So you can use it, but I'm going to go ahead and use this paring knife, and I'm just going to cut it kind of like this. Because I didn't cut it in half, I'm just going to take a minute here and do that. Any questions or any comments in the chat?
None yet.
Okay, so that's good. People are just hanging out. Okay, so then I just like to turn it over, and then I will do the other side. And it's interesting that the inside, well, we're going to compare it to the other one. They kind of look the same once you peel the skin off. And so we're going to talk about that. Okay, so it's super easy to do, right? And then of course you can cut it in different ways. Let me move this out of the way because we have a very small space here. Let me just put this over here. Boop-a-doo. Okay. So once you have it like this, then you can use a spiralizer. That's fun. You guys know what a spiralizer is? I was going to bring mine out. I didn't right now, but it basically makes it look like long spaghetti kind of things. You can use this kind of a thing right here, the mandolin, to do like julienne slices, or you can just create any shape you want with your knife of choice, right? Depending on what you want to do with it. And so from here, then you can pretty much do whatever you want with it. Like I said, you can just eat it raw. And although you could probably eat it just like this, like an apple, you'll probably want to cut it into maybe matchstick shape. And then you can toss it into salads for added crunch, or you can shred it. I've got the box shredder over here you can use, and mix it in with maybe like a creamy tahini lemon dressing for kind of like a slaw, or pair it with apples and cucumbers if you want like a crispy, hydrating snack plate, spiralizing it, and then you can use it as a raw noodle, like I said, like kind of like what you do with zucchinis, if you've ever done that. I've done that before, I think, on the show. Again, if you want to cook it, you can roast kohlrabi with garlic and herbs, and you can just do it until it's caramelized. Doesn't that sound good? Yum! Or you can steam it like we've talked about a few times now, or mash it like potatoes. Yes, you can mash it like potatoes. It's great. You can add a little nutritional yeast if you like that, or maybe some chives. We have garlic chives growing in our garden, actually in a pot outside, and that's really yummy. You can stir it into soups and stews where you might use turnips or potatoes. You can dice it. You can saute it with onions and carrots. And then that could be like a simple hash, kind of a veggie hash. Really, the sky is the limit with kohlrabi. So you can even try adding it to smoothies for a little more of like a peppery kick. Who would do that? Anybody in here willing to put a little pepper in their smoothie? I know I would. So today I'm going to use it to make a kohlrabi and fennel refresh salad, right? So I want to get the stuff over here, and some of it I already prepped. I did not do this because we're going to do it together. I cut the vegetables really thin. Let me grab some of the stuff that we're going to use for that. And here is the bowl that we're going to use. And then I will, I should probably do the kohlrabi next, but I'll bring this stuff over here anyways. I just want to make sure that, well, let me do this first. One thing at a time, yo. Okay, so I am going to use the mandolin. I know better. I have cut myself on this. So if you're not familiar with this kind of equipment, you want to make sure that you absolutely have one of these gloves. They're, what are these called? They're just like a cut resistant kind of glove. And then I also have this piece here, which you can take it and you can push it in there. Now, for this salad, wanted it on the thinnest blade, the thinnest amount. So I don't want a thick something. And so I'm going to go ahead and put this on here and just show you some of these slices. Now I'm going to cut another one up into different, shapes and stuff so that you can get a feel for it. And maybe I'll only do half like this, and then I'll do some of the matchsticks just so you can see. Let's see what it's looking like. Look at that. See? Super, super thin. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It looks like a potato. This, but like a chip. And if you wanted to, you can cut it in half, and then you could really have, these halved if you want a smaller bite. So I'm just going to do a couple more. And then I'm going to set this aside temporarily, take the glove off, and I want to cut these a little bit different so you can see. See, these are kind of big, right, if you had this in a salad. So maybe even what we could have done is what I said, like cut it in half, cut this whole thing in half, and then do it. So you would have these halved instead of what I'm going to do now, which is make a pile and then, like this. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, anything that you want. I love the idea of having these thin pieces here, and you can even do quarters if you want. But I wanted to also take a minute here and show you how I would do, I'm going to use a bigger knife for this, how I would do the matchsticks. So you can do it a couple different ways. You can slice it. You can actually take a piece off of the end if you're going to set it up so that hopefully it will not be on a rounded edge and it won't roll around, just for safety. But if so it would be flat like this. So you could slice it, which I guess I'll do, into whatever the thickness is that you want. I don't know. This is not very thick. What is this? Like a 1/4 inch, maybe a little smaller. And then I'm stacking it. Be careful. Watch the fingers. Okay, hopefully you can see this okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just slice it into these little sticks. Now, I'm doing these really small because I want them in the salad, but you can do this thicker and wider so that you can use it to dip in a hummus or guacamole or whatever you want. But see, then you have, look at these. You have these. See? Oh, we have Caroline Nelson. Hello, Caroline. I think I would spiralize, season, and air fry it. Ooh, that sounds really good. Or add it to our sheet pan of roasted root veggies. Love it, love it, love it, love it. That sounds amazing. Definitely, I would join you in that. So I'm going to set this aside. We're going to use them all. Even these thin ones, I think I might even just cut them a little bit more for the salad, even though they're super thin. And then we have the different ones. Okay, so let's see. I really need to move that out of the way. So what I want to do is prepare the salad. And the first thing I want to do is take some, I have here some arugula. Some people call it rocket. And I've already cut this. So I'm going to add the arugula in here, but I'm going to also cut some more because I want you to see how I cut it up, and just set this aside for a minute. I love your suggestions. Everybody's doing such a great job. Okay, so I'm just going to use the rest of this. This is clean and ready to go. Okay, so what I like to do is just kind of take it, this one's a little light. I'll get that out of there. Just kind of roll it a little bit like that. And then just gently slice it up into kind of, I'm thinking like ribbons is what I'm thinking. Just slice it up like ribbons. And this has kind of a peppery bite to it. You could use mustard greens. You could use any other greens that you want. But I want to put this down at the bottom of the bowl. And there you have it. So you've got that. So we've got the kohlrabi peeled, and we're going to add that in here, our superstar. So you can use, well, I do like the smaller pieces, so I might just cut up some of these bigger ones. I think that for this one, it's a good idea. What do you think, honey? I'm going to just do that. And then we're going to get these in here, all of these in here, and just kind of, keep them from sticking together. And then some other ones that we are going to put in here. I love the matchstick. I think if I would go with the matchstick for this for sure. So I just learned something. Now, I do want to don't you guys want me to just taste it? Let's just taste it, even though it's not in a finished dish, just to see. Okay, I'm going to cut it in half. Todd's behind the scene, but would you try it? Let's just share what it just tastes like raw and just with nothing plain. Wow. Kind of a celery, cucumbery, jicama, not broccoli.
No, I would say not broccoli. I was going kind of a peppery jicama.
Peppery jicama. You're genius.
I don't know about that, but
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, so at least you guys have an idea of what that tastes like. And then I'm going to add in some other things. Now, if you're not into onions, don't put the onions in. If you're not into something I'm putting in here, don't use it or sub it out. But Todd prefers onions cut really small. They're not circles unless they're, air fried onion rings. But is this size okay for you?
I'm good.
Yes, I can.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add that into our salad bowl. And then this, I did all of this on the mandolin. Do you guys know what this one is? Okay, I'll tell you. Red bell pepper. And so we've got the red bell pepper right here. And then we have some of this. Let's see. This is fennel. Do you know we're missing zucchini? I wonder if I left it in the fridge. Could you check for me, honey?
For fennel?
No, for zucchini that I already pre-made. So we already have the fennel. So this is a fennel bulb. And what I did with the fennel bulb, okay, so I'm just going to take a step back. So what we have in here is the kohlrabi. We peeled it and we thinly julienned it, or do the matchbox. I put in a small red bell pepper, zucchini, which we're trying to find, and then the fennel bulb. So this is the fennel bulb half. I cut it in half, and then yes, thank you, sweetheart. And then I thinly julienned it, and these little pieces here, these are the fronds. And I keep these for later because I want to reserve them for later, which is what this is. This is the extra. So I'm just going to put it there. And I started to just cut them up a little bit. And so let me just take a minute to show you. These are the zucchini. Again, you can cut these smaller, but I'm just going to go ahead and add that into our bowl. And I left a piece out in case we didn't have a chance. I could show you how to use the mandolin, but we did already. And so yes, Todd is telling me to take a break here. Go ahead. Oh, Caroline says those matchsticks would be great in fresh spring rolls or a hand salad. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing what a wonderful ideas. Sounds delish. I'm in Virginia, and here it can be grown here. Yeah. So are you familiar with it at all? Have you done this before? Let me know. And, if not, are you inspired now to try it? And so while you're answering me, I've just got a few here. I want to cut up a few more. Then I'm going to just kind of toss this together. We're going to make a quick dressing, and that's it. The salad is done. And so what I like to do is get the scissors. Oh, I love these great ideas. And the matchsticks are really, really great. And I think I would make it thicker even still for anything outside of the salad. Now, you could definitely just cut them, with these bigger pieces, but I tend to just like to keep the fronds and keep this for either putting in the stir fry or the vegetable broth or whatever. And so you can cut up as much, maybe all of this would be great, but for time, I will not do it all, but I'm going to want to sprinkle this in after I do the dressing. So I've got it. I'm going to set it aside. And then what I should do is grab some kind of I'll see if these will work. I could use my hands, but we'll see if this will work. And so I like that there's some color in here. I'm always looking for color. If you're not familiar with fennel, I am going to use my hands because it seems like it's kind of sticking. Fennel is kind of like a licoricey flavor. And so the peppery with the licoricey, all of these flavors together are really nice. I love the red bell pepper. It's a mild flavor. Then we've got the onion, and there you go. So this is our almost done salad. And let's just set it aside for a minute while we go ahead and add some stuff to make a dressing. So what I have here is caraway seeds. And I didn't really say the whole recipe. Are we going to post the recipe, or should I talk about that, all the ingredients? I can do both. Okay, so let me just go back really quickly. And so so I used 1 kohlrabi for this salad, a small red bell pepper, 1 zucchini, which we didn't put the whole thing in because I thought I was going to, but you would want to put in the whole thing. 1 fennel bulb. I used half. So depending on how much you need, you can use half or a whole. And then remember to preserve the fronds for later. And then you're going to want 1 to 2 cups of arugula. Remember, that's what we put at the bottom with the ribbons, depending on what you like. If you don't have arugula or you don't like it, also known as rocket, you can use any other kind of peppery green, is what I would say. And then half of a small purple onion, or you can even use a shallot, and that's optional if you want. So that's what we have. Now we're going to go ahead for the dressing, and we're going to use some seeds. I've got fennel seeds because we have fennel, and I've got caraway seeds. They're both kind of a licoricey flavor. And I already measured these are whole organic caraway seeds. I'm going to show you what they look like in case you haven't seen that. There you go. Yeah. Is that, can you see that? Okay. And, but I don't want to put them in as a whole seed. So you can either use a mortar and pestle to grind it up, or I do have a coffee grinder that I use sometimes for some of my omegas. And then, so that's about a 1/4 teaspoon of caraway seeds. You're going to also want to do about 3/4 teaspoon of the fennel seeds, which I didn't measure yet. 3/4. I'm just going to go ahead and do 3/4. Now you could do these separate, or you can just add them all together. And what's really nice is that we get to do a little workout in the kitchen. And then I just, whoops, I'm already throwing stuff. I just want to go ahead and grind these up a bit. That was making a lot of noise, so I'm picking it up. Oh my gosh. Okay, so when you grind this up, I already smell the licoricey, beautiful release of the fragrance of the seeds. And it's going to really complement the salad. I am sure of it. Can you read that one? I see Caroline Nelson just made a comment.
Caroline says she's been looking for it, but has not yet found it. But yes, you have inspired her to make the rounds at their farmer's market.
Yay! Oh, I hope you have a wonderful time. It's such a delight to go there. Don't we enjoy going there?
We do, even if you don't find kohlrabi.
I'm going to move this up a little bit so that I don't make so much noise, although I don't think that helped it. Hey, I could do brain exercises and do the wrong, my non-dominant hand. Oh my gosh. And that's always fun. That's like rubbing your tummy and hitting the top of your head at the same time. Does anybody ever do that? Or was I the only one? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I don't want it completely like powder. Otherwise, I would have used that. So if you are going to use when I say that, I mean the coffee grinder. If you are going to use it, you might want to pulse it so that you have a little bit of texture, but it depends on what you like. Right? Some people might not like it in their teeth. So here I want to just show you what that's looking like. It's still pretty, there's powder and it's still pretty, let's do a couple more. And then what we're going to do, we're going to add the juice of a half of a lemon and half of an orange. That's next. Gosh, does this smell great? I'm going to take one of these dishes that we just used, just so people can see. And I'm going to go ahead and pour that in there. Now, I already have the 2 halves. This is from our tree. Yay, I'm so excited. This is half of an orange from our orange tree. We have the Arizona orange, and we just love it. Okay, so I have this new favorite lemon, or I should say citrus squeezer. Have you guys seen me talk about this or seen this? It rocks. It rocks. My grandson and my daughter gave it to me as a birthday gift, and I'll never go back to that squeezy one that I have that I used to love. Now I love this one. Okay, so, and I'll show you. So great. You set it in there. You cut it. You set it in there. And then I mean, look at that. Simple, simple, simple. And so I'm just going to squeeze the lemon. It catches all of the seeds, if there are any. And it is like pretty darn good. Whereas the other one, I always felt like I was losing, you know, like it wasn't squeezing it all the way. Now, I don't know if it can do this big orange, but I thought I would try. Let's try. Oh yeah, I might just have to rotate it a little bit. You can also use orange juice if you have orange juice, but you just want the equivalent of half an orange. And I didn't measure the juice out, but I would say maybe half a cup if you are doing fresh orange juice. And for me, I'm just going to take my time here. Oh, this is a little bit big for this, but you know what? We're going to make it work. Gosh, I love getting all my strength out in the kitchen. And then I'm rotating it just because it's big. There we go. Look at all that juice still coming out. All right. I can't waste. I don't want to waste anything. So you get it. And look, I mean, there's a little bit left in there. Anyways, I'll put that aside and deal with that. If you're interested in this thing after the fact, can we put a link?
We'll put a link in the description after this airs.
After this airs. So if you're watching a replay or you're interested in finding out what that is, check out, it'll be in the show notes, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so and while we're doing that, then the next thing we're going to want to do is add some maple syrup because I want a sweetener to balance the acidic flavors. And so I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Now, you might want to do 3. It just depends. You might want to do 1. You might not want to do maple syrup. You might want to do a different sweetener like date syrup. I went with this one because it's a little thinner and I didn't want the color to be super, super dark. I'm going to start with 2 and see how that goes. And now that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to mix this up, give it a little taste. All right. And we do have another recipe. So anybody have any questions or comments or ideas? We are getting some great ones, but just wondering if there's any more. Let me see how this tastes. Oh, wow, that's really good. No, I'm not going to add any more maple. Okay, on the front end, I got a really sweet flavor of the maple syrup, and then the fennel and caraway came into play. I didn't really taste a very lemony, so it blended really well. I'm going to eat this today. Oh, I'm so excited. So what I'm going to do is just pour that whole beautiful amount right on there. And I know it's empty, but I can't help it. I like every last drop, every last drop. And now I just want to, you can toss it with these, or you can use your hands, whatever. Just make sure they're clean. If you're sharing with others, if it's yours, well, hey, do what makes you happy. And you can see, like here, you can see that, you know, leaving some of the spices or the seasonings in kind of a little bit of its form makes a really nice, just added look and crunch to it. And I think that's good. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and take this. These are the fronds, and just put it right on top. Now, I could cut these up more. You could sprinkle them and leave them bigger. You can continue to mix them, but I just did it this way. And some black pepper, a little black pepper will do it. Oh my gosh, here we go, you guys. We have our salad. Okay. Now we do have another dish that's half. I wanted to do a raw dish and a cooked dish. So this is our raw dish. Check it out. What do you think? Should we taste it together? All right. I don't know. Todd, do you want to taste it, or are you just wanting me to taste it? You coming in to taste? Hey, he's coming in to taste. All right. We always like to hear from Todd. He'll tell us like it is. He will tell us like it is. He's putting on his mic. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Hello, everybody.
Here's the fork that you like.
All right. The fork that I like. Big man fork.
Yeah, you like a man fork.
I do.
Okay. So, you know, let's do this.
All right,
let's do this. I hope it's mixed well enough. I feel like I didn't mix it.
Get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and make sure you get the Kohlrabi, of course.
Oh, yeah.
That's our star.
Mm-hmm. Get some of this stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, here we go.
Wait. Oh, I got that. Okay, here we go. Super good.
Refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
I bet if it sat and marinated for like a little bit, it would really bring the flavors together. What do you think?
There's so much going on in there.
Yummy.
That's really good. And I don't get a whole lot of like overpowering pepper taste, like from the arugula and the Kohlrabi.
Surprisingly not.
It was really good.
All right, so there you go, you guys. hopefully you're inspired to try that.
I am. Again.
Okay, so just to regroup what I did for the salad, since I gave you the ingredients, then what I did was I cut the kohlrabi ends. I removed the green leaves, right? We did that together. And then we can use that in another dish like a stir fry or whatnot. And then you can thinly slice it like we did, but I think next time I would do the matchsticks or whatever shape. Cut the ends of the zucchini and slice that into pennies as thinly as possible, or use your mandolin. And then don't forget, cut the fronds, tops of the fennel, and then cut the fennel bulbs down the middle. Slice it as thinly as you can, again, on the mandolin. And then you can add the red bell pepper, do the same thing, do this. And then for the purple onion, I did not use this. I tried it and it didn't work. So I liked slicing it with a knife as thinly as I can. I sliced it into rounds and then cut it in half. You can cut it in half and then slice it so that it's not rounding if you want. Either way, gather the arugula like I showed you. We chopped it into ribbons, and then you saw what I did to make the dressing. And of course, we just tasted it. So thank you for that. So I also decided, like I said, I wanted to show you a cooked dish using kohlrabi. And so this one is called glazed kohlrabi and carrots, okay? And I have it right here. I went ahead and started it since we wouldn't have a lot of time. But what I did was I took 2 pounds of carrots. Oh, I do want to show you how I cut the carrots. I'll show you that in a minute. And I made them into like a triangle shape. You could use any other kind of chunk shape. And I did it about, what would you say this is? I was saying this was about 1.5 inches. And then I put a little bit of water, 1/2 cup of water, into this with the carrots. And I put it on the stovetop and I cooked it until the carrots were about halfway cooked. It took me about 8 to 10 minutes. And then I added the kohlrabi. And I cut the kohlrabi, I did 2 cups of that, into pieces, which, if I know we're kind of going late, but I could do another one and just show you. I literally just cut it into cubes and put it in here. They're not really cubes, they're triangles. And the reason why I separated them is because the carrots take longer to cook than the kohlrabi. So I wanted the carrots cooked about halfway with the water. Then I added the kohlrabi. Now, if you don't watch it when the carrots are cooking, the water will leave and then you can burn it. So you want to keep an eye on it. And then when I added the kohlrabi, because I didn't have any more liquid in there, I did add another 1/2 cup of water. And then I just cooked it another 5 minutes. You just want it to be cooked to where it would be like if you made mashed potatoes, right? So, just squishable. Yeah, I'm trying to find, maybe I would even cook these a little bit more. But yeah, they're cooked, and you can cook them like you would mashed potatoes or a little less. This is a little less, a little more al dente, but it's still perfectly good. And then when I put the water in to cook the kohlrabi, I added maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, mixed it in the water, finished letting it cook. And that's where we're at right now. So now what I want to do, and you would serve this, you would serve this. Oh, Todd has to step away. And he is just waving. He's got to get on a Zoom call, but we'll finish up together. And I just will show you that I would pour this in a serving bowl. There we go. No oil, no salt, no sugar, all good stuff. And I did half the recipe. So this is only half of the recipe. And I put it in this bowl. You could do this step in here, but for a presentation, I wanted to do it here because I'm going to add some balsamic. And I don't want the balsamic to get heated too much because it will definitely burn. And so I'm going to go ahead, and I use California balsamic. It's a great company. We can share a link if you're interested in trying them. But I'm going to go ahead and do 2 tablespoons of this. Look at, I'm almost out. Oh, but I'm cutting the recipe in half, and that would be on the full recipe. So I'm going to actually do 1 tablespoon for this, and I have another bottle here just in case. See? Woo! And this is the Premium Classic, which is one of my favorites. And then I'm just going to do that. I like it because it's a really thick, beautiful balsamic. And then I'm going to add some fresh parsley. And let me rinse my finger. And I've got some parsley right here in my little container. And let's see. Oh, I threw it in here. Let me take a moment to pull some off. And, okay. All right. I just want this out of the way so you can see. And then I'm just going to chop it. Chop, chop, chop. Thin, 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 thin. And you can use anywhere from, I don't know, a tablespoon or 2, or as much as you want. I like to use the stems. If you're going to use the stems and you're putting it in a dish like this, you're going to want to make sure that they're cut very, very finely. That's it. I'm just going to take it and sprinkle it on, and that's it. There you've got your cooked dish. What do you guys think? Should I try it? It's got some pretty, pretty colors. And anyways, I will try it. Oh, I wish Todd could try it too, but that's okay. It's super simple to prepare things with kohlrabi. And I want to also talk about the difference in the flavors between the raw and the cooked. So here I go. Oh, and I wanted to show you how to cut the carrots. I really like it a lot. Guess what I'm having for dinner? Oh my gosh, that is really, really good. And I don't think I mixed it very well with the balsamic because I just got to make sure to mix it up. Mix, mix, mix. There you go. That's actually better. There you go. I feel like the cooked kohlrabi tastes like potato. And it is a different flavor cooked than it is raw in the salad. So as I said, I want to just show the carrot. So this is what I did. These are clean carrots. You don't have to do this, but I want to show you what I did. And you basically, let me rinse this. And the only reason I think that it's fun to do different shapes sometimes is it gives a different dimension to the dish. It doesn't change the flavor, so it's fine. So I did cut off the tip of the carrot because it, I don't know, I just did. And then what I want to do is make a triangle. So triangle, 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 triangle. You see? You can go thinner if you want smaller ones. You can go wider if you want bigger chunks. And isn't that fun? They're just like these little pieces. So that's what I did to get the shape that I did. And I'm looking for our salad. I want to have our stars here so you can see this. Our two dishes here. And like I said, you can use kohlrabi in so many different ways. I would like to know if you would like to see more recipes from me using kohlrabi. Let me know in the chat because I have a lot of other ideas and different things if it's something that you would be interested in. So next time you see kohlrabi at the store or the farmer's market, don't pass it by because it's easy to prepare, it's fun to eat, and bursting with benefits for your beautiful body. So if you tried kohlrabi before, let me know in the comments, if you haven't already, how you love to use it. And if it's new to you, of course, give it a try and then come back, leave a comment and let me know what you think. I want to say thank you, everybody. And I am going to just check the chat. That's an interesting way to cut the carrot, says Jill. And Caroline said thank you to Todd. Caroline also said, please post the salad recipe so I can make it this weekend. Okay, I will see if Todd will be able to do that. If not, on the chat, We will be able to post it on my website, thejenniferdiamond.com, in the recipe section. He will need a little bit of time to get it there. So I'm going to speak for him and say that's probably where it would be best place to find it. So please check it out. Yes, Jill, it's a fun little way. It's different, than just the pennies or whatever to cut the carrots up this way. So I just want to say again, don't forget to eat your greens, everyone. Thank you so very much for hanging out with me today. I hope that this was an inspiring, fun thing to talk about, and that you too will look for kohlrabi and try to make one of these dishes or something else. And again, if anyone is interested in me going ahead and sharing more recipes, just let me know and I will be happy to do that. So for now, I want to say thank you. Take care. Thanks, Nan. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. And hey, we're right on time, just a couple minutes behind. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, everyone. I've got to figure out how to end here. And we will, let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. Until next time, you guys, be well. Take care. And again, don't forget to eat your greens and give plants a chance. I so appreciate you. Bye for now. Oh, I see more recipes. Okay, I see it. I'll do it. Bye-bye.